Hi there, it's Attorney Bob Lightfoot at Reinhardt Berner Van Duren here on May 15th with an update for you. I know I haven't done an video update for a while, but several issues have arisen this week that I think we need to talk about and that are of interest, especially to the living facilities. The issues I want to talk about are testing, one. Second, the expiration of Governor Evers' emergency declaration and what implications that has on Secretary Designee Palm's Emergency Order number 21. And then finally, we'll talk a little bit about visitation and how that is impacted. So first, let's talk about testing. DHS did conduct its weekly webinar yesterday on testing. And right now, testing is going to be voluntary for all Wisconsin nursing homes, although it's very highly encouraged that facilities continue to adhere to this and get in this testing program. So the testing program was discussed at length yesterday. Go to the DHS website under long-term COVID and then long-term care providers and look at the testing. You'll see several things there. Exact Sciences is doing the testing. They're out of Madison. They are also providing the kits. So the update from yesterday basically told you how to get the kits, how to test nursing home residents and staff, and provided on the website consents, resident consent and staff consent forms for your use. So again, go to that website. You'll see a document called Opportunity to Test Nursing Home Residents and Staff on the DHS website, and it'll go through with you what the process, which is local public health reaching out to you to encourage you to test. So beyond your voluntary participation in that program, it will also be voluntary for the residents and staff to actually consent to the test. But it's DHS's opinion that through testing, we can more readily contain COVID and identify who may be positive and then implement strategies to continue to flatten the curve on this. So that's very important. You'll find everything you need on the website. The next issue is the expiration of this rule of DHS Secretary Designee Andrea Palm in Emergency Order number 21. As you know, and as you recall, that order specifically suspended many rules and states relating to nursing homes and long-term care. Probably the one that hits home the most is the suspension of all the nurse aide training requirements, making it easier for you to get staffing and promote folks through the nurse aide training process according to DHS 129 in the Administrative Code. So there's that. There's some suspensions of items in 132, the nursing home regulations. There are also suspension of the rules, some of the rules in DHS 83 for CBRS, specifically with regard to minors being hired, being able to be hired, and fire drill and other evacuation requirements. And then for adult family homes in DHS 88, again, fire drills and hiring minors. So what has happened is Governor Evers' original order, emergency declaration on March 11th, or March 12th, excuse me, expired May 11th. And unfortunately, this DHS order from Secretary Designee Palm states that her Order 21 was effective and remain in effect for the duration of the public health emergency as declared in Executive Order 72, which was Governor Evers' order. The practical reality of all this for you is that these rules and statutes are no longer suspended, and you cannot really rely on any of these and implement any of these any longer until the legislature and the governor get together, or maybe Secretary Designee Palm will hopefully today on the 15th reissue that order. That would seem to take care of this, um, so that we can continue to have these rules suspended as we're in the midst of dealing with COVID. We're not on the tail end of this. I think anyone working in a nursing home or assisted living can tell you we're in the midst of this. We're not on the tail end of it. So it's important that these remain in effect. And I don't know what happened, but that's what's happened, and that's unfortunate. But hopefully, I know the associations, WHCA and Leading Age Wisconsin, has submitted a letter today to the governor and to Secretary Designee Palm, requesting that the DHS reissue this order, or issue a new order so that these rules can be suspended and you can continue to fight COVID as you have been. So that's a big issue as of today. Now, let's talk a little bit about visitation, and then we'll be done for today, and you can enjoy the beautiful weather we're having on this Friday afternoon. But I've got a lot of calls into the associations and into my line here at Reinhardt about what are we supposed to do about visitation now that the Supreme Court has invalidated the stay-at-home order. Well, the truth is that, and I'm going to give you a very good reason to do this, you really need to continue to follow the CDC guidance, the CMS guidance, and the DHS guidance. That has not changed on visitation. We are still restricting family members and only permitting essential healthcare providers in the facility except for compassionate care end-of-life situations. That has not changed. So when I go to the CDC website, which I'm looking at right now, it does say to limit visitors to only those essential. So CDC maintaining this. When I go to CMS, it talks about restricting all visitors with exceptions for compassionate care and non-essential health care. When I go to the DHS website on visitation, it says facilities should restrict all visitors and non-essential healthcare personnel except for certain compassionate care situations. So you may be wondering, well, if the Supreme Court says that the stay-at-home order, which included those restrictions, is not valid anymore, why do I have to follow it? There's a very good reason you may want to follow it. As you may remember, the associations and I got together about a month ago and helped to write this immunity provision for healthcare providers during the COVID-19 emergency. You can go and Google it. It's Wisconsin Statute 895.4801. Specifically, it gives you immunity to any healthcare professional, healthcare provider, employee, agent, or contractor of a healthcare professional or a healthcare provider, provides immunity from civil liability for the death or injury to any individual or any damages caused by actions or inactions that satisfy the following conditions. First, the action or omission was committed while the professional, provider, employee, whatever, is providing services during the state of emergency declared on March 12th by Executive Order 72 or 60 days following date on which the state of emergency terminates. So remember, just this week, that order was terminated. We are now in that 60-day period following the state of emergency. So this statute is going to expire about 60 days from now. But for now, you're still covered. But here's why you're covered, because it says that you have to be in substantial compliance consistent with the following. Number one, Any direction, guidance, recommendation, or other statement made by a federal, state, or local official to address or in response to the emergency or disaster declared as described. Next is any guidance published by the Department of Health Services, the Federal Department of Health and Human Services, or any division of the federal government or Health and Human Services relied upon in good faith. So what it says is if you don't follow the current guidance, and I just read to you the guidance from both CMS, CDC, and Wisconsin DHS, you're probably not going to be covered under the statute. So it behooves you to continue to restrict visitors in the manner in which you've been doing, to continue how you've been practicing your business so that you can continue to be covered for any potential lawsuits that arise during this period, which I'm sure the plaintiff's bar is biting at the chomp to dig into nursing homes and assisted living based on COVID. But you should be covered under this. And so that's really numero uno reason to continue to restrict visitation and follow not just that visitation guidance, but all the guidance on that comes out both from CMS, from DHS in Washington, DHS here in Wisconsin, and I would go so far as to say the CDC as well. So important issues this week. As always, I'm available for questions if you have any by contacting me at Reinhardt. You can also follow me on LinkedIn or follow me on Twitter at Bob Lightfoot, and I'd be happy to speak with you. So have a great weekend, everyone, and continue to stay safe.